Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Family Moments, where we use really cool object lessons
that teach the truth about what matters most.
Exactly. And today, we're going to have some fun with this.
Goggles? Oh, are we going swimming?
No, what we're going to do today...
Or maybe we're going to take a ride on a motorcycle.
Well, no, what we're going to do...
Or maybe we're going to drink root beer floats.
No, what we're going to do... Root beer floats? Why would we need goggles for that?
Just to keep the suds out of our eyes.
Oh, brother. Hey kids, Pastor Robbie here, along with my lovely assistant and wonderful daughter, Sadie.
Hello.
And today, we're going to have some fun learning about living upside down.
Living upside down? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about following Jesus.
You mean we're supposed to follow Jesus by standing on our heads?
No, silly. We already live in a crazy world that's upside down. So when we follow Jesus, he actually turns it right side up. It just seems upside down to everyone else.
Interesting.
Just take a look at today's verse that comes from Acts 17:6, where it says, "These men who have turned the world upside down have come here also."
What's that all about?
Well, Paul and Silas were preaching the good news of Jesus, and some people weren't happy about that.
Why not?
Well, because following Jesus means living differently than almost everyone else in the world.
Differently? Can you give me some examples?
Sure can. Jesus taught that the last will be first. And to be the greatest, we must learn to be the least.
That's pretty crazy.
He also taught things like when you're weak, then you're strong. And to save your life, you must lose it.
Man, that is upside down thinking.
He also taught that it's better to give than it is to receive. And we're to put serving others above serving ourselves.
No wonder some people didn't like hearing about Jesus. Who wants to live like that?
But surprisingly, when we live like that and put others first, we have much more fulfilling lives.
No wonder they call it living upside down.
Exactly. But it doesn't come naturally. Let me demonstrate this for you with a couple of object lessons I like to call learning to live upside down. And all we're going to need for the first one is a pair of special goggles, a whiteboard, some dry erase markers, and an eraser.
So, what are we going to do?
Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is draw a house by making a simple square with a triangle on top. If you want to go the extra mile, add a rectangle door and a dot for the doorknob.
What's so hard about that?
You'll be wearing these special goggles, which make everything appear upside down.
Oh, well, how hard could that be?
I don't know. Why don't you give it a try?
Whoa, this is a lot harder than it seems.
Yeah, take a look. Your house looks like it's on fire. Now try drawing the sun by making a circle with a bunch of triangles around the edge. Add a smiley face in the middle, like this.
Oh man, this is challenging. Everything is upside down.
Yeah, your son looks more like a monster.
What's the other object lesson?
Well, for this one, we're going to see if you can make a basket. I'll hold up this hula hoop, and you toss a ball through the hoop.
Piece of cake.
Oh, but first we have to strap you into this inverted table.
Inverted table?
Yeah, you know, so you can shoot upside down.
Oh man, this is not easy.
Okay, that's good enough. I think you get the idea.
Yeah, I'm so used to doing things one way that when I try it upside down, it doesn't come as easily.
You just have to train yourself to think differently.
Oh, you mean like that opposites game we used to play?
Yeah, where I say big, you say small. I say fast, you say slow. I say up, you say down.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, I say hot, you say...
Chocolate.
No, the opposite would be cold.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try it again. I say happy, you say...
Birthday.
No, it'd be sad.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't working so well. I say open, you say...
Sesame.
North.
Pole.
Wet.
Wipes.
Okay, it's all coming back to me now. You stink at this game.
Sorry, it's not normal to think like this.
Exactly. And that's what Jesus was trying to teach us. Putting others before ourselves may seem out of the ordinary, but learning to live upside down is a beautiful thing. So, Sadie, what did you learn today?
I learned that we live in an upside down world because of sin. And when we follow Jesus, He wants us to live right side up, even if it seems like we're living upside down to everyone else.
Exactly.
And this would include things like the last being first, the least being the greatest, the weak being strong, losing our life to save it, giving instead of receiving, and serving others instead of expecting to be served.
Very good.
Now, since you're such an expert at living upside down, I thought it'd be fun to see if you could actually make a basket upside down.
No problem. Come on, let me show you how it's done.
Here, you hold the ball, and I'll hold the hula hoop. Oh, here, could you hold my drink for me?
Sure, no problem.
Ready?
Ready. Now,
Dad, if you were so thirsty, why didn't you say something?
Yeah. We'll see you around.
God's story. Paul and Silas. So part of God's story is about two men named Paul and Silas, and it begins like this. Paul and Silas were friends who decided they wanted to serve God. Serving somebody means you try to help them. It can be as easy as holding open a door or setting the table, or as difficult as scraping chewed gum off the bottom of their shoes, or worse, picking out the lint from their belly button. Thankfully, God doesn't need help like that. God wanted Paul and Silas to help him by telling his story to others. God's story is all about his love. God is the main character, and He loves everyone and wants everyone in the whole world to know Him. Do you think you can tell people God's story? One day, Paul and Silas were in a city called Philippi. Some of the people there didn't want to hear about God's story, and they got really mad at Paul and Silas for telling the story every single day. In fact, they got so mad they beat up Paul and Silas right in the middle of the street. Then they threw Paul and Silas in jail. Now remember, Paul and Silas were just trying to tell them about God, and now they found themselves behind bars in prison. Once they were in jail, you might think Paul and Silas got scared to keep serving God, but they didn't. In fact, they wanted to worship God. Worshiping can be playing an instrument, singing, praying, listening, sharing your things with people who need them, and other stuff too. But all those things are a way to show you really love God. Anyway, Paul and Silas decided to worship by singing songs to God. They sing so loud the whole jail could hear. It was like having a dance party right there in prison. Kind of weird, huh? But that's what Paul and Silas were doing. Sometimes you can look a little weird when you're serving others or worshiping God, but that's okay. Well, God was with Paul and Silas. Right in the middle of their dance party, a huge earthquake began to shake the whole jail. All the doors swung open, and Paul and Silas' handcuffs fell right off their hands. They were free. So, what do you think Paul and Silas did? Well, they knew that if they ran away, the jail guard would be punished for losing his prisoners. Paul and Silas didn't want that to happen, so they decided to stay in jail, even though the doors were open. When the earthquake was over, the guard thought he was in big trouble. He felt more sad than he had ever felt in his whole life. But suddenly Paul yelled out, "We're all still here. Nobody's run away." The guard was so surprised and happy that he invited Paul and Silas over for dinner and to spend the night. It might seem strange that the guard was going to get in big trouble if the prisoners were gone, and then he took two of them home with him. But that's what he did. Well, the guard's family was so happy he didn't get into trouble that they listened to Paul and Silas tell God's story. Because the story is such good news, the family realized God loves them. They decided they wanted to be a part of God's story too. Paul and Silas were allowed to go home the next morning. They knew now that serving God would be hard sometimes. But they decided that even if people were going to get mad at them, ask them to help them with things they didn't want to do, beat them up, send them to jail again, or worse, they would still keep on serving God by telling His story. And that's the story of Paul and Silas. So in case you missed it, here's the quick version. Paul and Silas were two friends. They wanted to serve God. They told people God's story. Some people didn't want to hear it, Those people threw Paul and Silas in jail. Paul and Silas weren't scared. They had a dance party to worship God. God opened the jail doors with an earthquake. Paul and Silas stayed to tell the jail guard about God. They went free and kept on serving God. And that's a part of God's story.
It's been a difficult time as people all over the world deal with coronavirus. Through the struggles, we've seen some awesome ways that people share God's love. Some communities even drive their cars around to make parades. We found some amazing kids who've been shining God's love through these hard times. Some kids are helping by making colorful masks. Others are opening up their backyards for neighbors to gather. Let's meet a few of these cool kids who are bringing comfort. First, we're going to meet Ben. He uses his musical talent to share God's love.
During the coronavirus shutdown, I FaceTime my grandparents every day to give them a music concert. I hope this song gives you guys hope.
Ben also bakes cookies and makes cards with his family to cheer up people in town. Music and cookies are a great way to spread God's love. But there are so many other ways. Here's Sophie. She used art to bring joy to her neighbors.
Go ahead. What did you paint here, Soph?
A cross.
Why did we paint it on our window at the front of our house?
Because we want, what is it called again?
Encourage?
Encourage.
Who?
Parents. The people who is walking by.
Sophie also delivers bags of donations to members of her community. And then there's the Prada family. With their church, they deliver food to people in need.
It was great to be able to serve with the people of all ages. It felt really great to know that what I did was making a difference in somebody's life.
I loved being able to be part of the kids' tent during the food drive-thru. We got to give kids an arts and crafts kit and some snacks and sweets. But the best part was getting to pray for them as they start their new school year.
Yeah, it was awesome to pray for them.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Look at all these people these kids could help. Food and prayer definitely bring comfort when you're sad. Now let's head to Atlanta, Georgia to meet brothers Riley and Bo.
What we have been doing this season to help people who have been affected by the pandemic, we have to put together bags of art supplies and snacks, and then we've given them to people in the local area who have been affected by this pandemic.
Also, we've been making signs for teachers to know how much we love and appreciate them.
Bye!
Bye!
We found a cool kid who created a VBS in her backyard.
Hi, my name is Evangeline and I'm 9 years old. And my favorite part about Good VBS is that they have amazing songs that I can sing and dance to. But during COVID, me and my family and lots of other kids couldn't attend the VBS. So I decided to run my own VBS called Backyard Adventure because we're stuck at home all day. It was supposed to be just for me and my family. But then we shared it to a lot of churches on the West Coast. So now kids like me and my brothers can have fun and learn about Jesus.
She even made her own Bible memory buddies for her backyard VBS, like Paige T. Pigeon and Heather H. Hascat. God comforts us when life is hard, and we can pass along His love and comfort to others who are hurting. In the Bible, the book of 2 Corinthians says, He comforts us in all our troubles so we can comfort others. I wonder how you can bring comfort to people in your neighborhood. Whatever you do, you'll be helping others know that God comforts you. We hope you're inspired to spread God's love and make a difference in your community. God comforts you. You are treasured.